Hi everyone, my name's Pav, lead market analyst here at Swyftx, and we're going to dive into some very interesting metrics today, specifically regarding the altcoin market. There's some really big milestones that we've really haven't ticked off in months that I'm excited to go through. But just to kick everything off, we've got an exclusive link in the description of the video. For anyone that hasn't become a Swyftx member at the moment, we've got a nice sign up bonus. So please go check that out. We really appreciate the support and the likes, subscribes, and follows. Now, as we mentioned, it's been an amazing last couple of days, if not almost 30 days. We've continued to see a lot of the market soar, and a lot of the good news really that we're seeing as tailwinds seems to be blowing in the favor of Ethereum, as we've covered quite a bit lately on the episodes. But I wanted to point out that we're seeing regarding the Ethereum ETFs, or the exchange traded funds, we've now seen demand for these products really start to surge since the middle of July. Now, a very interesting fact, these products regarding the stock exchange tradable exchange funds, which have been very popular for Bitcoin, Ethereum really hasn't seen too much interest. In fact, 59% of the flows that we're seeing to date have occurred since the start of June. And these products have been available since July 2024. They have had some time in the market. There could be some very telling signs that the overall legislative environment coming forward in the US, specifically Trump signing the Genius Act last week and the Industry Clarity Act that's also been greenlit, as well as further clarity on CBDCs. A lot of these legislative improvements really are looking to enable further innovation and development on blockchain technologies and Ethereum. But what maybe is potentially further fanning the flames of optimism is the new SEC, or Securities and Exchange Commission's chair, Paul Atkins, was on a recent interview on CNBC and further added to that the fact that Ethereum won't be considered a security. Now, this is a big deal when we talk about regulation, just clarity in terms of the whole industry as a whole. If we're looking to drive forward further investments into the crypto space, this piece of clarity, it can't be understated. And what's even more telling is the market has been potentially respecting a lot of the news that's been coming out in quite a positive manner, as we've seen those ETF flows really start to tick up. And we even really start to understand broader risk appetite for crypto assets, we're seeing trends that we haven't seen in quite some time. So number one, I want to point out that the total market cap of altcoins, that's any coin not including Bitcoin at this stage, has reached $1.5 trillion, which we haven't seen since the start of 2025. And when we look at the relative strength between altcoins here, we can see that the trend has been down on this chart. That's basically telling us that coin has outperformed week on week all the crypto assets outside the top 10. Now, we've just for the first time since December 2024 seen 2 consecutive weeks where altcoins have closed higher when we're comparing the strength of altcoins to Bitcoin. Now, again, that gives us another tell that the market is looking to move into these more speculative assets. And that could be a lot to do with what we're seeing in the general landscape of how the legislation's coming forward. We're starting to see potentially innovation of blockchain be a really key driving factor as a part of this current government's agenda. And that sort of leads us to understanding if we're seeing a lot of clarity on Ethereum, which at the end of the day provides the infrastructure for a lot of this on-chain activity, there's other competitors in the same landscape providing the same infrastructure that may be also going to see some sort of benefit in terms of clarity, etc. So when we talk about the likes of Solana or XRP, we can even start to understand, is the market now potentially pivoting away from Ethereum, which has seen an absolutely bolstering 50% gain in the last 30 days. So when we look at the start of this week, having digested everything that happened last week as well, we can see that there's actually been a very key bias for the market, or preference, I should say, towards Solana rather than Ethereum and XRP. Now, this is not to say that this is going to be a trend that we continue to see, but it's very interesting to see the mindset of the market maybe shifting towards some of the other infrastructure plays in the crypto space. So this will be an interesting trend that I think we continue to look at. And as you can see here, I'm using this chart where I'm looking at the value of Sol, Ethereum, and XRP measured in Bitcoin. Now, this is done on purpose, basically helps to provide a better understanding of how well these assets are outperforming Bitcoin. Because as we can see from this previous chart, we've seen nothing but Bitcoin dominate the performance in the total market. So when we really start to see these trends against Bitcoin start to form, it can help understand where we could be seeing momentum start to play out, especially with an infrastructure sector like this, where we want to try and understand what could be moving ahead of the pack at the moment. But that's it for today. I'll be back again next week to digest and break down markets further. Again, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a share, subscribe. And again, we do have that special sign up bonus for anyone down below in the description. Please check it out. Thanks very much, guys.